and happy Sunday to you. It's Sarah from Funky Fossil here, back with my weekly episode of crafty fun and inspiration. And this week I'm really excited because I'm going to play with some new stencils. Stencils are going to be going live in the shop today, and they're all on a nautical theme or an underwater theme. If you've been following me and you've seen how much I've been making in terms of shades of blue, kind of blue collage papers, etc. This was the project we put together in the last couple of weeks. You probably won't be surprised that's led me to thinking about all things sea and water related, and that's what's inspired these latest stencils. So I've got three new stencils going into the shop, and obviously they'll be on offer, and they'll be what we use to make our journal page today. So we've got this kind of A4 sea urchins mask, which is going to look fabulous, I think, on a gel plate as well. I'm going to use it with some sprays today. Got an 8x8 kind of fish stencil called Ebb and Flow. So a lovely design for, again, maybe for using on fabrics, or for repeating to create a kind of a bigger background, or for doing one way, inking one way and then flipping over and using it in a different colour as well. There's lots you can do with this one. It makes lovely backgrounds. And then I've got a fish mask, large. It's a large fish mask kind of outline, and also the layer that can add some texture on top of that. But of course there's a lot you can do with the mask itself in terms of stamping or stenciling other patterns inside it, using it as a template. You've obviously got the solid one as well, so if you want to use that to block out an area and work around it, you absolutely can. So this is probably about 17 or 18 centimetres long, so it's a reasonably good size mask. In fact, it'd be great for kind of little journals and shaped books. It's about 17 and a half centimetres long, so it makes a fantastic kind of focal point or a project in its own right. So these, as I say, will be on offer in the shop, and I may well put together some kind of Sunday maker bundle. I haven't even got to thinking about that yet, but they're going to be what I make with today. And I literally have just got these stencils off the off the laser cutters, and I've been itching to have a play with them. So I haven't got a particularly complicated project today. Today is going to be more about playing with our inks and sprays and layering up the stencils and seeing what kind of underwater scene we can create with these three elements. Oh, and Sea and Bloom, which is another of our stencils, which is not a new one today, but is also available in the shop. So that fabulous detail. In fact, that's what I took. I expanded that up, and that's what I took as the texture or the detail that goes into the fish, so they'll coordinate beautifully together as well. And I'm thinking of using some of our Stella paste, because it's been a while and I absolutely love them. So, and I think when you think about things that are underwater, a bit shimmery, I think that's a perfect opportunity to use some of our lovely shiny pastes. I'm going to try and do, you'd be surprised to hear, I'm going to try and do today's video a little bit more quickly, because quite a lot of the techniques that I'm going to be using I'm sure will be familiar to you. So when I turn the camera back on, I'm probably going to kind of speed through making the background. You probably can't see it on the camera here, but I've got an 8x8 piece of mixed media paper for my journal page, and to start with I'm just going to do some ink sprays and distress oxide inking to create a background, and then once I've shown you that speeded up, we'll add some further details with a bit more narrative to it. So I'm going to get my sprays out and hopefully not cause too much mayhem, and let's build a lovely underwater scene. was a quick run through in terms of making that sprayed background, and look at the shimmer on that, it's beautiful. So lay down some light spray to begin with, then sprayed again with the stencil over the top, or the mask over the top, to bring out that pattern, and then added some distress oxide around the edge. So if ever you do a spray background and you feel that it kind of looks a little bit white or unfinished around the edges, you can always use your inks to kind of fill in that colour. And I quite like the fact that the oxide's quite a chalky matte finish, so it dulls down the shimmer at the centre of the page. And I used a little bit of the Sea and Bloom stencil just for a little bit of extra detail, which I think you can kind of just catch on camera. And of course, as you saw me do, I was mopping up, and I've got a lovely second background that I'll be able to use for something else, just from mopping up the first spray and also the stenciling. And also when I was just cleaning the stencil, I've created some wonderful designer kitchen towel. That's so cool, isn't it? So yeah, not sure what I'm going to do with that, but it felt too nice to throw away initially. So this is all dry now, and the last thing I'm going to do before we get on to the kind of the main fish, the focal point fish, is I'm going to add some further stenciling to the background using the Ebb and Flow stencil. I'm going to put some Starlight paste on this. So for those of you familiar with kind of glitter paste, Starlight is the clear one, so this is going to be very, very subtle. It's just going to be another layer of texture on the overall background, but it won't necessarily contrast with the background. It will just catch your eye and give you that impression of kind of fish swimming in the background. So I kind of get these in a mega pot so you can use lots of it. And not worry, you can mix it with colours as well. I've done videos in the past where I've shown how you can mix it with mica powders or with inks to colour your own spray to coordinate perfectly with your project. So colour your own paste to coordinate perfectly with your project. So definitely, if this is a kind of product you want to explore a little bit more, then check back on those previous videos. Now, shall I live dangerously? I haven't got a little bit of masking tape. Really the end of the roll here. It's just because the obviously the paper or the card has had some moisture on it, so it isn't as flat. It will flatten out, but in terms of the stencil making good contact with my base, just help them out a little bit. And of course 8x8 stencil is a little bit bigger, so you want to be able to, you're not going to be able to necessarily hold it all down at the same time. So a nice thick consistency, and we'll just throw this paste on. Because this is going to be a background element, it doesn't matter if you don't catch all of the stencil, because it won't necessarily be massively visible. It's, as always, just like buttering bread, pulling the paste typically in the one direction, just so that we're not working back on ourselves and risking pushing that paste underneath the stencil. It's a nice thick consistency, this paste, so it isn't too liquid and doesn't present challenges like that. Right, plenty to go back in the pot there. And then once we've taken the masking tape away, I'll set this aside to dry and we can work on the main fish design. So I've got lots of ideas with these new stencils. If I have time, I'll come back again during the week with another video. certainly check out my Facebook and Instagram for more makes as I share them. Let's put that to one side. And you probably won't even, there you go. So you can see that texture shining as another layer above the urchins. Fabulous. I do love the Starlight paste. It's just nice to have that kind of subtle background interest. I've got a little bit just down here, just a little bit where it's there we go, a little bit of bleed, but again, it's because we've already got shimmer down, it's all going to kind of combine to accentuate the shininess of our underwater scene. So I'm going to put this to one side to dry, and then we'll get to work on our main focal point that will go on the front of the page, which is our fish. So as I say, it's 2-layer fish stencil, and I'm going to add a little bit of colour to start with, some just light colour. I think I'll use salvaged patina distress oxide, which is same as the spray stain that we used earlier, so all of the colours are going to be quite harmonious. And I'm going to stencil over the top of this, so it really doesn't, this again doesn't need to be a perfect job, just needs to define the shape. Again, I'm just thinking this would be great kind of as a mask on the gel plate, or for blocking out, so creating a kind of an abstract colourful background, and then using the mask element to create a shape that we're going to preserve, and then we can cover up the rest of the background around the fish. That makes sense in my head, but I'm not sure as I said it whether it made sense out loud. I do love the sea. I do love kind of all things underwater, beach. Right. Super simple. You could of course go in, you could add variations of colours here to create kind of more detail in the background. You could stamp over this and create a fabulous embellishment. So I'm going to keep it simple because we're going to stencil over the top with the texture layer that comes with the base, but say totally optional in terms of whether or not that's what you want to use. They just fit perfectly over each other. So I'm going to use some more Stella paste for this. I'm going to mix a couple of colours on the stencil. I'm going to use Sparkling Sapphire and Bright Meadow, and combined together they'll create a nice rich colour. We've been using various shades of blue and green on the background so far, but obviously we want there to be enough impact on our focal point so that it is differentiated and doesn't kind of get lost against the background. So I'm hoping these colours are going to be strong enough to do that, and we shall see. So I'm just going to tack this down. Get them both open. Such rich, gorgeous, rich colours. It's been ages since I've got them out and had a play actually, so this is a bit of a treat. I've got the green as well. So this is, this is Bright Meadow. We've got a darker green. I can't remember what it's called. It's something emerald. which is a kind of perfect Christmas green, and this is a much fresher kind of zingier green. What's it called? I'll have to look it up now. Emerald City, that's right. I couldn't carry on until I thought of it. Right, so here's some of the sparkling sapphire. Add it to a few spots on our fish. I might come in for some more in a second. I'm not going to worry about going over the edge of the stencil here, because I am planning to cut the fish out as a focal image, so it doesn't matter if I accidentally go outside of the stencil area itself. Look how beautifully they've combined together. So they've gone quite, it's quite a nice rich dark shade. So I'm going to have to obviously take that off my palette knife rather than putting it back into either of the pots. If you have a little production line going, then you can obviously kind of continue and use it on something else rather than waste it. I have to say goodbye to my patterned kitchen towel. Let's see how that's come out. And again, I've done videos in the past where I've used a variety of different patterns in an aperture stencil. So although this comes with this textured overlay, use it with other nautical kind of or sea themed stencils you might have. You might have a fish scale stencil or waves, etc. And these will all work perfectly within the aperture of the mask that we've created here. Look how great that looks, the dimension. So you can see that kind of blue and green have combined beautifully on the stencil, so you've got a lovely kind of blend of colours. Right, I'm going to just wash off my stencils. Obviously the Stella paste needs to be washed off because it will dry very, very hard on that stencil. So I'm going to wash off my stencils, wait for my background and for my focal point to dry, and then we can put some more elements on this journal page. So I shall be back in a sec. Right, well I got to thinking as I was waiting for the paste and the background to dry, and I thought, oh, it would be lovely to use the fish elements on the journal page as places for some kind of hidden journaling. And so I thought, right, okay, I'll add some sentiments from our Dream Whale set by Kim Della, which is on offer in the shop at the moment, and so that will work perfectly with all these by the sea inspired makes. So I traced on the stencil on blue cardstock, stamped and white heat embossed the sentiment, and I did another one on the other fish from the same stamp set. And then I thought, right, well, how are we going to attach these now to our journal page so you can actually turn, or at least move the fish so you can see what's on the other side. So this is where my head then went. So I thought, right, okay, let's stitch the fish onto the journal page very loosely, and we will then create a tie at the side of the page so you can untie it and move the kind of the fish back like a flap. So this was going to be a very quick and easy journal page, and already I've made it far more complicated, but it's really cool to have interactive elements on a page, isn't it? So I must admit I've gone off on a little tangent, but I'm having a lovely time. So I've already done this one, and all I'm going to do is I've got my fish broadly in situ where I want it, and I'm going to just use a pokey tool to poke through both the fish and the base layer on a thick foam mat. and then I'm going to punch up, pierce a second hole outside the fish. Now I've got some twine, I think this is sashiko twine, kind of variegated blues on there, threaded needle already, and all I'm going to do is go through the back of my journal page. Oh, where did my needle? It's fallen out again. It took me 30 seconds to do off camera. So there we go. Now when I'm creating this stitch, I'm wanting to create it very loosely, because if I stitch it really kind of tight, then the fish won't move. It will kind of be too closely attached to the page. So I think if I have the thread like that, you see, we'll be able to turn the fish quite easily. So I'm going to leave it loose as a loop, and then go back through, do that again, create that loop, and one more time. So obviously this isn't going to adhere our fish securely to the page, because they'll be moving around too much. So just make sure I've got enough movement or give on those stitches. I think I do. So I'm just going to secure them with a bit of washi tape. And then we've got two fish that are going to flap about on our page, but you can see you can still turn them and move them really nicely. So obviously we need to find a way then of making sure they're kind of secured on the page until you want to look at them. And I've got a crocodile here. I think I'll use the big hole. So what I'm going to do is go through the fish and the page, this one, it will be the head and the page. I think I've got to go through the texture paste, and then I've got some muslin that I've sprayed and dyed over the course of this week, which just happens to be a colour I think will work nicely with this page. And I'm just going to create a little tie that ties at the side of the page, so it'll be a lovely detail at the edge of our journal page. Hopefully secure our fish and create a lovely textural tactile element. And I'll just trim those down. I'm hoping I've made the hole big enough that I don't need a needle or anything to get the fabric through. You obviously don't need to do anything like this. You could just be adhering these down as your focal points. You could be putting your sentiments on the front of the fish. You could use washi tape rather than thread to secure them. This is just a little idea that I kind of thought of while I was waiting for that paste to dry. And I think that's working. It's really cute. Keep those for another project. Make sure I don't skewer myself with the needle. So there we go. I think that's quite a nice. I didn't expect the journal page to turn out like that when I started. Isn't that the joy of art journaling? So you've got your new stencils on the page, you've got your urchins, you've got your ebb and flow fish shining in the background, you've got your layered fish as your focal point, and I've obviously used that as a template to create the back for the fish so that I can put my wording on. Lots of Stella paste and some words from the Dream Whale stamp set by Kim Dello. You can check out links to all of those in the description box below, and obviously I'll be putting together a Sunday maker bundle at a great price for you, so you can make something similar to this if you'd like to. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope this kind of journal page is something a little bit different, a little bit interactive, and certainly enjoying the theme of being by the sea. And I'll be having lots more inspiration with that kind of nautical, sea-themed kind of imagery over the course of the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you don't already, and I shall see you again next Sunday, if not before. Bye for now.